lots of Canadian records. The front of the book is just packed with little Canadian flags.
What we did this year, because last year was my very first visit to Canada, I think the first visit from a Guinness editor in many years, and I just realised how many there were. There's just hundreds. I mean, I printed out somewhere a list of all the Canadian records, and it's about 85 pages solid of records. So, and Canada is in the top, must be in the top 10 definitely, if not the top 5 nations for record breaking. There's something, they need to do this. I don't know, the same with the US. The US is number 1, the UK, Canada I think is next, Australia, Finland for some reason, and India. So yeah, there's something about the Canadian spirit that just maybe pioneering or adventurous or crazy.
That's kind of a fun part of the job, is thinking, I wonder, I mean, it's, you know, a new category creeping in. You get an idea, or somebody calls up and says,
Yeah.
you know, can't argue this point, and then you get to go and look for it.
Yeah, I mean, the problem we all have, everyone who works at Guinness World Records, is that you start, everything you see, you start to think, oh, is that a record? You can't get through life without every day thinking, oh, I wonder if these are the biggest shoes, or is that the longest sofa, or something. And occasionally it pays off. Like I was in a bar in London, in a hotel, just flicking through the cocktail menu, and there was one for, I think it was 100, it was only 89, no, it was 780 pounds. I thought, 70, so I said, is this a typo on the menu? I've actually typed it wrongly. They said, no, that's a very expensive whiskey cocktail. I'm like, well, that is the most expensive cocktail. I'm sure it must be. And I checked, called the office, and sure enough, it was the most expensive cocktail. So to have that radar thing on all the time helps us get quite a lot of records. But mostly it's the public, because they're so inventive and crazy and got this amazing sense of humour, and they come to us with these ideas, like I can squirt milk out of my eye. This guy can drink milk and squirt it out of his eye. There's no way I would ever have thought of that as an idea, because not something that happens very often. Well, it's never happened to me. So that's one way the public contact us. And the other is that with my brain and all our staff who've got this kind of mentality of thinking, is it a record? Plus all the consultants we use. We've got a network of consultants all around the world. So we've got a TV specialist, a movie expert, various science experts, and they have the same problem. They just think all the time, is this a record? Is this a record? And then they sort of dump annually on us.
What's the longest standing record you've got?
I mean, there are lots of obviously natural records that have stood the test. So Everest hasn't got any contenders to beat it. It has changed height a few times as science has become more accurate in measuring it. But things like no one's ever been any taller than Robert Wardlow. Everyone will remember Robert Wardlow as being the guy who was 8'11", who died in 1940. He died. No one's ever been taller than him, so he remains the world's tallest human being. Things like the biggest selling song of all time is still White Christmas, and that's not been beaten, which is lovely. It's nice that that's kind of stayed and continues to be a big seller. The Maracana Stadium in Rio, still the biggest stadium. The biggest sporting event is still the World Cup final between, who was it? Was it Uruguay and Brazil? I think. I forget. It's something like 198,000 people watching one sporting event in one venue. I think it's still the biggest.
How's the CN Tower doing? We still
there?
Still
there, yeah, just, yeah.
Good.
Still got the highest wine cellars, which is a new record.
Highest wine cellar?
Yeah, I went for dinner last year. They were very kindly, gave me a personal tour and took me to the very top, and we went for dinner. I was like, you've got good wine cellars. Wait a minute. That's what happened again. Just that kind of slipping glimpse. You think, oh, there could be a record in this, and sure enough, we gave it a bit of investigation, and we got it in the book this year. It's 351 metres high wine cellar.
You're right. You do have the best job in the world.
And we get to sample the wine just to make sure that it's.
Of course, you're going to have to go back and check it every year to make sure it still has the record.
No, we do get bonuses like that. Like in New York, I got to sample the world's most expensive hamburger. In Belfast, the most expensive cocktail. You just get, and people are happy to. When you call up from Guinness World Records and say, hi, this is Guinness World Records calling, they instantly know who you are. There's no question. There's no like, what do you do? explain your business. They know exactly who you are, and as a publisher, and for me as an ex-journalist, that's a great thing, because I've worked on some terrible magazines where you have to explain who you are, and people are reluctant, and they don't quite know if they can trust you. The Guinness World Records, there's an instant trust and love, and they're happy to do anything, including giving you expensive drinks and hamburgers.
The book is Guinness World Records 2008. I've been speaking with the editor-in-chief of the Guinness World Records books, Craig Glenday, and Guinness World Records 2008, published, not surprisingly, by Guinness World Records.